had this. They've got everything
Right.
connected now.
Just paying too high, we might be blown away, man.
Oh Lord, this thing's giving me problems already. I see that's the same for you.
Sponsored by Prime, sir. Make sure you get the what flavor is it? Strawberry watermelon, 2 and 2.
I'm drinking the Gatorade Fit, which is, I guess it's okay. It's not as good as Prime, but it's okay.
Oh no. No, I think I only had one of them one time, and I said, "Yeah, this don't do nothing except for make you take a leak a little bit." Like Prime. Oh, one single sip. Oh God.
Yeah, they have a better formula than most of the drinks on the market, but you can't hardly find it anymore. It's everywhere I go, it's sold out. So
Well, yeah.
they have the big packs down at Kroger, but I ain't about to pay $15 for them. No, they don't have the singles. They only have the big packs.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I bought a big pack. 13.99. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean.
sometimes what I usually do, and what other people do is they'll rip out a couple out of the pack, and oh well, 2.29. I don't know why it's coming up 13.99. Right, you said 2.29. All right, yeah, we believe you. Go back up here, question about where your shampoo is at.
Well, you got to do what you got to do to survive.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure to speak with you today, Mr. Harris, and be here to talk a little bit more about some of the things you've been working on lately. I understand you've been kind of expanding your brand into personal fitness. What made you want to go in that direction and try to build that brand? I know it's always kind of been a passion of yours, but was there something specific in your motivation that you wanted to change about what you were seeing in that field?
Well, there's a whole lot, but the simple thing is, we face this, and me and you face this in the other areas
Yeah,
where, you know, people just ain't doing the right thing. They're milking the clock, and you're like, well, I'm born to do the right thing. I want to do right by people,
yeah,
as
absolutely.
much as I can. I don't want, you want that ongoing business, whatever, but you don't want to cheat people, and that's what I'm saying in this fitness industry and stuff,
Yeah,
for many years, it's like, well, have our session, well, let's just not even do the basic fundamentals. Let just, and you see this stuff going on in the gym. Now I'm not the only one seeing this.
right, absolutely.
It's like everyday people are seeing it too.
Yeah,
And like somebody like you're a trainer, really? And that okay, well, whatever floats your boat, buddy.
right.
But me being me, I'm like, man, I can give that person a whole lot more bang for the buck, especially right now, the way
Mm,
the economy is and everything like that. We talk
yeah,
about all the time, everything's, sky high right now. Now, we won't go into politics about everything, we'll just, because everybody already know, but you're like, man, you don't want anybody to get cheated out of anything. You want some be done right. That's like,
hmm,
going, basically you want to apply the same fundamental what you're currently doing, whether you're doing your stand-up comedy, music, whatever,
hmm,
you just want to do the right thing. And apparently so you try to do the right thing, everybody, spread out like roaches, and then here come the narratives about you, and and everything
hmm.
like so. But I think it was time for me to get into the business and see what it's all about. Expand the brand, like what I always say, this is another branch of Bo Daddy Harris. So I mean,
hmm See what it's all about. That's a lyric off another song we wrote, or in my mind, it references whether it, just a saying or not, but City of Gold off of Deep Truth, which we re-recorded recently after 3 years. How did it feel to come back to Deep Truth and re-record the vocals in a more um, maybe advanced or in a better way, get better recordings than we recorded on the first one? How did it feel to come back to that project after these years have passed?
well, first thing, I thought, it was great doing the whole recording thing,
Hmm
experiment, whatever, during the pandemic, because, we
Yeah.
didn't have not a whole lot of things to do, and so we like, all right, well, let's give this a shot. Let's start with one. We start
hmm
with that one, and that was, I think, American Queen first. I
hmm
think that was first one. Then we put it out as a single, whatever, through multiple distribution. As soon as I said, "Oh God, not down this avenue," that's gonna be a. It's
All
gonna
right, I
be a
got to try to
2 hour
bring it back.
conversation.
Oh
Uh,
my God, I
we're
don't
not
even know
going to
where to
get
be.
sidetracked. We're not
Where do
going to
you
get
even
sidetracked.
begin with that topic? Oh Lord. But yeah, we did American Queen and released it first of many, but I think for me it was really rewarding. What it did is it really reminded me just how powerful those songs we wrote the first set. I mean, not that the other ones weren't also, but we really put something together, I think that has really stood the test of time well, and just how good those songs were and still are. That was what I took away from it. But yeah, I enjoyed recording or re-recording out those songs with you as well. Speaking of,
There was a long time throughout the whole
yeah,
thing where we were having Bart and Lisa type days and everything,
well, I think you're
or I take that back,
uh
Homer and Bart situation.
right. Well, I think
So
you're going to have that when you have
yeah,
two people and you both are trying to get a certain, in other words, you're both two entities that are trying to get a certain level of quality out of the project and both shine respectively and together. So that's a lot to really negotiate, and you have to be able to talk about it, and you have to be an adult about it. And it can be very difficult if you're working, I know firsthand, if you're working with somebody that's real uh demanding, without trying to, because there's got to be that give and take. You know
oh
what I
yeah,
mean? With Deep Truth, for example, there was the time with the lyrics about the green card that he said
oh.
those lyrics ain't gonna make the cut. Now I could have, instead of rewriting them, I could have thrown a fit and stuck my ground and could have made it an ugly situation, right? But I didn't choose to go that path. Um, but I think there's definitely that element there that everybody's trying to negotiate that and try to get a certain quality. And you've had the same experience with engineers where you're trying to get your mix a certain way because you like your vocals and everything done a certain way. What would you say the one biggest lesson that you've learned from working with these engineers is about, just mixing in general and what you want for mix? What do you think the biggest takeaways have been from your experience with these engineers that you've worked with?
Well, first, it's really hard to, for them to gain my trust. because you already know, it's like what I always say. If the demo, if my demo, I simply put a couple little things on there,
Right.
I put a couple little things on there. If my demo sounds better than your first draft mix or whatever you want to say, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we got to do. I don't know. We need to do consulting, have a sit down, review all your other recordings because something ain't adding up. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Why, everything over on side A sound, like heaven almost, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
then what you gave mine was basically, well, the pizza ain't done out of the oven, but we just went ahead and pulled out anyhow. How'd you like this one?
Right.
I said, it just, it's kind of hit and miss with all. Well, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
some of them got good days, some of them got bad days, and a lot of them just want to, milk it for your money.
Right.
And that's everywhere now. But I mean, these people they don't even try. All right, well, how's that? Did you even touch it? Yeah, I put this, that, this, that. No, I've been doing this for a few years. I'm Grammy nominated. From what I've learned, no disrespect anybody who's gonna see this, but from my point of view, that Grammy nomination thing ain't really nothing at all. If you didn't win a Grammy, then you didn't win the Grammy. Let's just stop everybody right there, because I mean, uh, I heard somewhere the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Uh, if you didn't come in first place, you lost. I mean, there's no second place. I ain't, you lost.
Yeah.
Uh, so if you ain't got that award, whatever, and a lot of them got that nomination, and it's like in every group, you got a lot of bad apples out there that just Grammy nomination, this, that. I'm part of this chapter in this city I live in. We got GMPs on top of it. Buddy, if you're dealing with online clients, none of that stuff should apply.
Mm-hmm.
No, you should just have a standard rate. That's like you're gonna be at training stuff. You got a standard
Yeah.
basic rate that you go by.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, if you do great things, you can level up your price or whatever. Hopefully you keep the prices the same they were before with your clients you already had. Don't switch up on them, because you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like, oh well, this guy or girl gonna be charging me more. I need to go somewhere else. I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything been great, but now I can't afford it. I put this in my budget and everything, but
Right.
it's hit and miss a lot with these engineers, and lately it's been a whole lot of misses, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, Now I got a couple on my end I've been working with and everything, but me, I love doing studio stuff, but at the same time, that's a whole other ball game,
Yeah.
up the clock type situation. You got to worry about by the hour, and then if so going to show up or not, because I have a few of them instances where the engineer didn't even show up at all.
And that was with a local studio in Louisville that was downtown near the campus, I believe.
Yeah.
where
Uh,
you showed up and the engineer wasn't there and they had some other activities going on in the premises that were questionable.
yeah. And it's like what I show up out of my town, come over here, do something
Mm,
I love, and you say, oh, yeah, well, we don't know anything about
yeah.
it. you know. So I mean, I love doing studio stuff. I try to do some stuff down there in Nashville, but
Hmm.
it's pricey and everything. Now there's a bunch of stuff I don't agree with on how they do everything down there, and
Right.
that's a whole nother subject now for another day. But I mean,
But
if
at the end of the day, you're the client, so I mean,
yeah,
they should be able to meet your wishes and make you happy with
that
the product. And you haven't really found a whole lot of that, have you?
now I found a couple, but I
Right.
mean, got their days and everything, and I
Right.
mean, but if you find them good people, whatever, and
Hmm.
hopefully they do good by you and don't have their moments, whatever. I mean, stay with them,
Yeah.
because you already know you go back out there, it's like try and apply for a job or look for somebody, book talent or whatever case may be, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a whole headache.
Yeah, and it really is. Speaking of that, you've kind of dealt with some booking situations that have been questionable. There was a couple checks that were fraudulent that you got for a couple of shows, at least one that I recall. There was one where there was a check you deposited that came back as fraudulent. Um, what is your thoughts on the whole booking situation? I mean, based on what you've kind of experienced in terms of putting on shows, do you feel like you've been able to work with some people that are good or not so good or in between, or what's your experience been?
So lately, now in the past, like that check situation,
Yeah.
sent a check, and we had a contract in place and everything I set up and
Hmm.
everything like that. Here's a basic performance contract.
Hmm.
We show up and do everything, and we agree upon, and then next thing you know, I get a check in the mail for $4,000 instead of the
Hmm.
ass amount of 800, and then from there I'm like, uh, red flag, red flag.
Yeah.
Time to business mode kicked in, and then the other party got a little bit uh, little feisty and everything, and I'm like, this is a scam.
Hmm.
I'm like, what do you mean you want me to pay for everything and whatever's left, keep the 800, but and send this money everywhere else and contact y'all and the envelope came in said two different addresses and everything, and I'm like,
Hmm.
heck, you going, and the check is from Ohio or whatever, and I mean, nothing's lined up. So you're like, red alert, red alert. So
Yeah.
I called the bank up there and everything, and I told them, and they said, and I handed everything to them. They said, ain't nothing you can do if you file a police report. It happens every day, but I
Right.
mean, which it's kind of, a shame, but
Hmm.
it's I'm in vans and everything. But I mean, this whole booking thing's been real questionable,
Yeah.
like I mentioned the other day to somebody, when they asked me, you have been booked in a year? I said, yeah, because you want to do right was by you and everything. You want to
Hmm.
make sure everything's secure because last thing I want to do is prep, rehearse, and what I mean by prep, rehearse, get everything ready,
Mm-hmm.
song list, set list, whatever you're gonna do, everything takes time. Of course, there's a lot of newer songs I have written down, so I
Right.
got to do all that, write down the lyrics, and so I do that. But I mean, last thing I'm going to do is do a show, not get paid. Oh well, it's a door. It's that. I'm a grown man. You put a lot of stuff into this stuff, and you're finally getting somewhere. And last thing you need, well, we can't pay you. I mean, you can show up, you get butt. I still get people. They offer me do these shows around the city. I'm like, well, I mean, I love to do it, but you gotta be right for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I said I gotta get paid, man. Uh,
Yeah.
just way the catalog is and how far I've come and what I bring to the table as a entertainer. Because when I
Mm-hmm.
show up to the stage, I will entertain.
Mm-hmm.
They won't be, well, I'm an artist. I'm going to show up as the band or whatever, and we're just going to play. No, I'm going to give people,
Mm-hmm.
a good time and everything,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because when I grew up, I watch all that stuff on TV, and you know, I'm like, that's what I want to be right there. So I'm gonna be that entertainer, come out there, give people a good time, and so that's why I really haven't been booked anywhere. I mean, I tried to
Mm-hmm.
get booked, but at the same time, I'm like, man, if it ain't right, don't take it.
Yeah.
Don't take it, because it's like what I always say. The more you do, you think it's going to be, of course, going out there and perform. That's a good feeling, going out there and perform. But just going out there and then you're devaluing yourself.
Right.
By what I mean. You going out same groups and same places. You're doing more harm than good.
Right.
So, and that's like, ever since the pandemic, I just shut everything down.
Yeah.
Just shut everything down.
And speaking of that, a lot of groups in the Louisville area that kind of book around the same venues and don't really do a lot of promotional work, don't put any real effort into their shows. And you see a lot of that. What do you think when you see that pop up in your feed? What do you think your first reaction is? When you see them playing at the same place?
Well, I see him play the same place. And I'm like, oh man, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
really, I mean, I ain't trying to knock anybody, but at the same time, I'm just, from my point of view, everybody got their own opinion, of course.
Right.
But I mean, I'd be like, oh man, I wouldn't do that to myself,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going out here doing same chain of command of venues, and same place, rotation. They'd be playing the plays, every one time a week, every week, and it's like, man, I mean, come on, you could do better. I
Mm-hmm.
want to see everybody do good, but when you ain't promote promoting or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
I really ain't got nothing to say,
Yeah.
because I would promote every one of my events, but at the same time, like I always say, it's also on the venue to
Yeah.
promote the events as well. And if the venue ain't doing their fair share, then I mean they simply don't exist to me. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, business is business. You know, okay. What's your draw? No, what is your venue draw? Who will actually show up? What is your audience type
Yeah.
on a regular basis? I'm like, why ain't nobody answering these questions? There's a difference between a promoter and the venue. The venues around here, they ain't got no promoter. They just got, uh, somewhat, part-time manager come in, all right, well, I come, Dan comes in here, between 6 and 7, take care of all the bookings for the week and whatever, and then he bounces, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But promoter gonna do, I've dealt with promoters and everything like that. Like somewhat legit, but that's a whole nother story. But promoters are gonna promote because one, they want their money.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they want everybody on the thing get paid. Of course, the headliner, when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about the comedy stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
The headline, everybody has to get paid. Everybody, whatever y'all agreed upon, whatever else. But these venues, nobody's holding any of these places accountable or anything. They're like, look here, man, we sell this place out real easily, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's the thing, ain't nobody really gonna come out Monday through Thursday, really, unless they're off on
Mm-hmm.
Friday, and then they're gonna come out Thursday. That's what I'll say, you put some of these showcases and stuff on the weekends too, I mean, there's a lot of places in this town, but it's you already know you got a lot of these people higher up, leaders or
Mm-hmm.
venue owners. They're like, well, we don't see it that way, And I'm like, well, that's part of the problem. I've
Yeah.
said that since day one, August 12th, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
That's be coming up 11 years doing this whole entertainment thing. I said it since day one. I'm like, why aren't y'all doing this? Well, that's not how we want to do things around here, okay, well, but that's what I would do if I was in their shoes. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like what I said before, I like to perform, but it got to be under the right circumstances and everything because you are the performer. People came to see you,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're gonna put on a good show, you're gonna put on a good show.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's all I gotta say about that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you're gonna be putting asses in the seat, but on both ends, people gotta do, their promotion, whatever. But majority of it should be the venue and the promoter
Mm-hmm.
promoting that because that's the whole idea. And a lot of people, oh well, it should be the artist because the artist be. I'm like, what? What? I'm like, y'all don't make any sense. But I mean, hey, who am I? I mean,
Well, I think a lot of it too is I think a lot of venue owners now, they don't really, like you said, they don't have full-time promoters, or if they do have somebody booking, they're, doing it one day a week or part-time. So, I think a big part of the problem is they just don't want to put in the effort to put together a big show, because a big show takes a lot of work and a lot of responsibility to promote right and run right. You got to have security there, sound engineer. You got to have an area for merch. People have to feel safe. There has to be concessions. So there's a lot that goes into that, and I understand that. But I think I would agree with you that a lot of these venue owners are just lazy nowadays.
Oh yeah,
You know, I
completely.
mean, I watched a documentary on Bob Dylan back, when he was kind of in his younger years, and they had a whole team of people. They were going up on buses, slapping posters on buses. They were
Yeah.
slapping them on the side of the walls, on the venue, everywhere, in the grocery store, everywhere they could get a poster. And that's
I
what you
remember you
need.
tried
Yeah,
also somewhere, and they
yeah,
typically, they ripped them off
yeah,
soon as you left with it.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that was when I was putting on a showcase up in Louisville at a bar that's no longer there, and I had went to the copy place and we got these big, huge signs, and I was going around the Highlands,
I got a
paste.
couple over here at the house. Yeah.
Yeah, I was posting them up because it was a show you and I played on. We were the headline. We closed that show, but I remember promoting that and then coming back and the posters were tore down, like they didn't want it, And I just said I don't want to. I never did understand that because you know, if you fish for small fish and you never go for anything big, you ain't never gonna catch a big fish because you're gonna be
You
spending
ain't
all
gonna
that energy
catch a
trying to
little
catch a
salmon.
bass, a little bitty bass. You know what I mean?
You ain't even gonna catch a guppy.
Yeah, I mean, so. But that's typical of the promoters nowadays, and a lot of these people that run shows, and other artists have spoken out about it too. It's unfortunate that it is that way, but that's also been kind of my experience too, working with them. Speaking of that show, that was a kind of notorious show where they had that situation where the venue owner promised security and never delivered on it and all
Uh,
that.
uh, I mean, I won't lie. The inside of the place was nice. It
Yeah,
used to be Tom Drexler plumbing, whatever, and then I guess they bought a new bill, whatever. But I mean, no parking, nothing.
yeah.
Nice on the inside, but
But still, you want to have security. You want to
oh
have
yeah,
you want to have it like a big thing. You want to be protected and stuff. You don't want to be, out here and wild, wild west in it with
yeah.
everybody. You want to be taken seriously. You know what I'm saying? So, um,
All
I
right,
mean,
there's a guy in here with a potato gun. All right. You see him? Oh, Robert, we got him. We got him, Robert. Got him. No, no, Robert, no. Shut me in the knee.
well, you just never, it's just sad that we live in that type of world, but you never know nowadays. You go to Walmart or anywhere and people, get crazy shit.
Hey, I see Naruto up there at Kroger's where I go
Yeah,
to as a security guard.
yeah. But circling back, Bo, I want to talk briefly about the Crimson Raisins. I got them on sale.
Oh, man.
I got them on sale program. Um, well, welcome back. The continued conversation with entertainer, comedian, musician, and composer, Bo Daddy Harris. So before we were taking a break, we were circling back to the catalog. I know you just released what's the title? Southern Honeymoon, is that correct? And
Uh, well, basically, that was top topic of the song. It's Nobody Like You.
mm-hmm.
And,
But
and
you
then
got
another one,
go ahead. I'm
and
sorry.
another one I produced, mix, and sang on and did
Uh,
everything by myself called I Tried.
right, but when you first started out, you kind of had Queen of My Heart, and then you got a couple of more singles, and then you moved on to albums, and now you've kind of got this ever expanding catalog of releases. and I was curious, how do you feel looking back, reflecting, when from your first big song, "Queen of My Heart," and all that production and Views of Mexico, and of course all the work we did on Deep Truth, Wild Horse, and all those other projects. Now you've got this big catalog. How do you feel having this catalog in terms of how do you feel about that achievement?
Well, first, I didn't know how everything was going to go after I
Mm-hmm.
did Queen My Heart, be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, music was something I was really getting heavy into, and
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to do other things at the time,
Mm-hmm.
which was producing other songs at the time. So,
Yeah.
and Queen My Heart came together, and was actually the first song that actually got done first.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just,
But you had written other songs before then.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I saw memory on my personal Facebook
Mm-hmm.
where Good Old Days was written
Mm-hmm.
back in 2012, whatever, but I didn't get that produced until I think earlier that year in 2017, late 2016, when, I just took a break from comedy altogether. And, you know, and that was the first song I released. Now I recorded twice
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't like how everything was. And, we run into this problem where we don't like certain thing on the second verse, first, whatever. So I
Mm-hmm.
went back and recorded at another studio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and then I just changed that verse,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I initially, the first time I wrote the song the night before the
Mm-hmm.
studio session, um, you know, and there was something had to do with the county fair and all that. I said, no, nah, that ain't gonna sound right. Now
Mm-hmm.
that's too, and I didn't like how everything was, and so I said, well, let's go ahead and then try record it again, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I was about to leave for a wedding down there in H Town, like that's like day after recording session. I said, well, let me go ahead, record this, come back to the house and do everything,
Mm-hmm.
I record out and thought it sounded great, at the time and still do, and I just looked up distribution, whatever, and I just went with the first one I found online and paid for the publishing and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and then put it out as an instant release. Now, of course, I didn't know, it'd take a couple of days for it to, process and everything. It's not like now where they prove everything, in less than an hour.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I put it out. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going down there to Texas for a wedding, whatever. And and I was so anxious and everything because it was my first release. When's it coming out? When's it coming out? It was supposed to be out, everything like that. They go, oh no, something happened. Oh man. And then it came out, a couple days later, that just how the time frame was back then. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody started watching it, popularity grew and everything on iTunes. Of course, I bought it myself. And, I mean, I was happy. I was blowing up and everything. Everybody was calling me from job place and everything. This guy can sing. This guy can sing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a great feeling. And I'm down there, chilling down there in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and just doing my thing and staying comfortable and everything else. And you know, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing the right thing because I also pitched it to radios and everything else. Internet
Mm-hmm.
radios, they were kind of big and everything like that. And, they were getting radio play, internet radio play, made several stations and everything like that. And everything that supposed to be, was supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm like, oh man, this is real big time. I
Yeah.
didn't think it'd be like this. I was, I'm like, man, I'm a superstar now, and I'm gonna blow up even more, whatever. What am I gonna do next? I got these other songs and everything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I shot the video in the fall, day after Thanksgiving. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of distribution, I know we don't want to go into all that, but you feel like the distributors out there make a little bit too much of what they actually do, and they kind of have a grandiose vision of what distribution is versus what the reality of it is.
mhm.
You want to speak on that a little bit?
To be honest, I think the king and queen, the distributions up
Yeah,
here, then you got the damn peasants down here.
yeah,
Then they sit out the monster and everything. Kill everybody, kill everybody. Go ahead, we're done with them. City burning and everything else, and the king's up there. Ha ha ha! Give me a cookie.
yeah.
I'm like, man, they don't give a fuck about us.
Well, and I think you and I both kind of come to that conclusion that, if you're not on a business dealing with them personally, they kind of treat everybody that
Oh yeah.
distributes through them like they're not really a priority and they get to your stuff when they get to it.
Mm-hmm. Was there. I mean, it's just a crazy thing, I mean, I ain't never seen nothing like it. I mean, I remember we tried to go down there in Nashville, one place, and we won't speak any names, but I was thinking,
Yeah,
all right, right, Cabell, we go down here and we might get advance or something.
yeah.
I'm putting on my Houston hat because I followed Houston scene for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I think this is going to work. We're going to show up to a place,
Mm-hmm.
introduce ourselves, and it's going to be real business mean and everything. We got music pitch and everything too. Check us out. Came down here, look at other things as well. And, I mean, and it just went south. It's like, I don't understand. But the moment before we went up that mean, there was a girl come down the steps crying or drunk
Mm-hmm.
or whatever case may be, and she ended up getting a more exclusive deal or whatever the case may be. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was seeing her recently online. I'm like, well, that didn't really work out, did it? I mean, but it just showed me the other side of things. I'm like, now everything cracked out what it's supposed to be, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of nepotism, favoritism when
Yeah,
it comes down to all this stuff. And,
yeah.
I mean,
And the person that was in charge of that meeting, they're now, of course, working for another label. They've since moved on, but yeah, I remember
right.
that particular. that particular
I
meeting.
remember we took on, well, you took on the merch real. You're like, screw it, I'm down here, and this stuff for free.
Well,
I'm
they said, welcome, help yourself to the
this
merch. So
guy always took
I took
the
like a
thing on
book.
guitar.
Well, yeah, I
Well,
took.
this guitar came from Cancun, and it got the logo on it, and don't feel like it's from Cancun. Maybe up the street from the little guitar shop.
Well, that guitar wasn't. I mean, they had done a custom paint job on that guitar, but that thing it wasn't all that.
Yeah, custom paint job from the Home Depot.
I mean, but point being, that led to the infamous "Can't Trust a Snake" music video, and then of course there was some backlash over that because of the representation in there. But I think you and I have talked about it, and since then we've kind of come to realize that the reason why we were so upset is because we were trying to take it so seriously. You know what I mean? And it just seemed like it was all a big hoo ha.
And I
Yeah.
don't think the problem was us. It was
No, I mean, because we came down there ready for business. I just think that,
we dressed up and everything, and
yeah,
came down. Now the girl who came down to sell,
yeah,
she would look like she, had some
just got out of
sweatpants
bed
on,
pretty
and yeah,
much.
got
Yeah.
out of bed, wreck, and everything else, and then and of course that was the same building where all
Mm-hmm.
the managers and stuff were meeting at, because I remember seeing some stuff on the screen, the booking managers, tour
Mm-hmm.
booking managers, and everything. They were looking up their clients and everything. So, I mean, we were in the right area.
Right.
But, I mean, the things you just find out and everything is
The truth
like,
is so
man,
much more of an illusion in this industry than the reality. There's kind of, and that goes back to the whole industry standard
uh,
mentality that a lot of these people have. It's all really the majority a delusion.
it's a
It
smoke
really
show.
it is. It is. It's a delusion. There's not a lot to it like people think.
No,
Like people think there's all this. What it is it really is a key group of people working, and then everybody else is like attached themselves in some way to that
right.
key group of people, and they're doing these minute little tasks. But it's not like this pull back the curtain Wizard of Oz moment. You pull back the curtain and you just see a regular guy like Wizard of Oz. It's
Yeah.
like that was my experience, and that was a big eye opener to me. Because I think when you get into business, I think you come into it with a certain level of like, oh man, this is music. This is this big
Right.
thing. This is like the Red Hot Chili Peppers live. It's this big, huge thing that we all have come to just treasure. And anybody that's been to live shows knows that
Right.
the performance it's just once in a lifetime. A lot of times when you get a good performance, no, none of the performances are the same. You can see the same band in different towns and you'll get different performances. There's so much magic in the act of performing,
Mhm.
but the business side is just all over the place.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, you ran into the same problems I pretty much had, but I remember that one time you called up this one company, and the same place down there in Asheville. They said, "Well, the owner is on the beach in France. Well, you want us to leave a message?
And
You want to
I
leave
think I
a
called him and it was like, hello, this is so and so. I'm on the beach right now. I was like, oh my.
message?"
I said, y'all are so in cloud nine, Cushberry Lane or whatever over
Right.
there.
Just there laying on the golf course, and
I just like in your own little worlds. It's
do
like,
do
is
do
anybody taking this serious at all? Or
do I have to be the guy from Caddyshack and try to catch a golfer and plant dynamite everywhere just to get y'all attention. By God, but
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
we converse with the same people, and you're like,
yeah.
who are these people?
Well, and that's the question I've had for years, going back to the time we were working with that company with New York that we were trying to work with for a minute. But I was like, who are these people? They have LinkedIn profiles, but they could be anywhere. We don't know. I don't know what they do.
Right.
They're not, it's not like I go up to Walmart and I can say, all right, let me see the manager's logs, and I can say, well, she did this, she took her break at 2:45, she clocked in at 11:15 and she clocked out at 7. You don't have that accountability in this industry. Who do you go to talk to about it? you,
Right.
you sue the company and you try to win a court battle against a mega giant. I mean, that's your only real recourse. There's no
Or
defense.
or you show up to one or other buildings and stuff, and they won't let you get past the first floor, and they got a big old piano sitting right there by the reception desk.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, who are you?
yeah.
I'm so and so, and oh, that's the guy who I was on the phone with a couple of days ago. Uh, well, we can't help you. There's nobody here.
And
Not
meanwhile,
even the
they're all
squirrels outside can help you.
yeah. Meanwhile, they're all upstairs somewhere, huddled in their little corporate towers or whatever to spend all
Oh
their.
well, I've seen video. They got couches and
Yeah, yeah.
bean bags and everything, grandioso and everything. I'm like,
Well, but they got to remember all that lifestyle that they get to afford. It came off the blood, sweat, and tears of somebody like you and me going out
oh,
live,
yeah,
performing, making them money, making them money. We bring the value. It's not the other way around. This
see,
business has always
they
been built on talent.
lost their true ways.
They
You
really have.
know,
They
I
have.
mean,
They become corporatized. I think once they became corporatized, they became like every other corporation. The same thing that's going on with jobs nowadays. They forget who makes them money.
uh,
If you go to work and you get paid, let's say you're getting paid $20 an hour, whatever, if you can get that, it's very even hard to get that anymore. They've tried to dumb down what you're making anymore. But let's say you're getting $20 an hour and you're making them, $1,000 an hour. Okay, so I'm getting paying you $20 an hour, but you're making me how many times? I mean, whatever, 20 or 30 times that. It there's just no comparison.
it's a
And the
big
same,
monopoly.
yeah,
It's a big old monopoly. It's
absolutely.
a big old racket.
It's a big old corporation now thing, yeah, with all these labels. They're like the wrestling business, everybody got bought up
Yeah.
and now it's all corporatized and they put a little thing. But if you study the history of wrestling, wrestling evolved from the territories. The territories were independence, and then people worked to independence, and then they would work so long in this territory, then go to the next territory. So let's say they were down in Memphis, which had a big wrestling presence. They work Memphis, and then maybe they go up to Philadelphia, then they go up to New York or wherever, and work the territories. But now that you've got all these consolidated businesses, there is no more real competition. And that's part of the problem in music. You got big three labels, and then you got some smaller run, companies.
I
But a
think
lot,
all the small run companies are actually owned
yeah.
by
And I was getting
the
ready to say that,
label
yeah.
because label own the playlist, the video platforms like Vivo and
Hmm.
Amazon and all that. Well, they got Ty and all that.
Right.
Apple, they listen to Apple. We already know that. I mean, somebody like me, if I get one of them high possession, entertainment level superstar, whatever, first thing I do, I step up to Apple. Enough is enough. Um, I mean, the labels, these movie studios and
Yeah.
everything, they own everything.
They do. It's
They
become
own everything.
a big monopoly, and that's the problem. That's the problem. You know, your port of entry, so to speak, is
Yeah.
much narrower. You got to go through a much narrower selection. You know, now of course distribution kind of helps equal that playing field,
Right.
but at the same time, it's very hard to compete. You know, with no PR, no marketing, doing everything
Right.
on your
Yeah.
own. You know, and that's something that a lot of people,
That,
you know, that sign label deals or artist deals, they don't know nothing about. Excuse me. But yeah, so I think there's definitely a lot of elements there that we've touched on. A lot of the same problems you and I have, keep coming back to these same kind of recurring things. And we'll get a project, you know, mix back from the engineer. And the first question, well, who you gonna go to? And then it starts that
that,
whole it's like, and it's like I hit the same dead end wall back again. You know, it's like who am I? You know, because you've worked with all these different companies and they've treated you all the same, like you're
oh
just
yeah, they treat
nothing.
you like like that, like nothing. Kick dirt. All right, well that's the end of that. Next,
Yeah,
I mean they don't care. That's why I kind of, step away from all these subscription based
yeah,
platforms and stuff. I mean, I'm just feeding money, 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 and nothing. Oh, well, sir, your payment didn't go through.
yeah, yeah,
Your music might be taken that. I'll take it down myself,
yeah.
I mean, you're just feeding the machine, feeding the machine. You know how you go to the store, whatever, Walmart, Myers,
Mm-hmm.
Costco, whatever, or Kroger's, whatever, and they got that coin machine. You're just paying them money, paying them money. The
Yeah.
only thing is, you ain't getting that receipt. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for the money. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to go somewhere else. And it's the same thing somewhere else.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be working for you, but as soon as you question your little
Mm-hmm.
Zendesk, little emails, whatever, they all got the same email thread platform and everything, just about.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, so you question them, they're like, why are you questioning this? Either dispute with us or don't.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, really?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, back in the day, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they were exploiting artists, whatever.
Yeah.
They said back then was worse than it is now. No, actually, it's worse
Yeah.
now because even though it's more out in the open, they're doing it even more.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. Oh well, we don't care. You deal with us, or your career is not alive.
You know, either you bow down to us, submit to us, and do what we want,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, we'll
That's
make it
why I
very
shut.
difficult for you. You know, if you
That's
catch
why I
my drift.
shut.
Yeah, eyes wide shut. Speaking of which, that's a great movie, Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, which is probably Tom Cruise's, in my opinion, his top five roles as an actor. Just out, he worked on that movie tirelessly with Kubrick. And Kubrick was very fortunate enough to get Tom Cruise. But I mean, at that point in his career, he had done a lot. He had done 2001 Space Odyssey, Full Metal Jacket, which is, if you've never seen Full Metal Jacket, you got to watch that movie. You wouldn't even give that man a reach around. God, that classic scene. And then of course the guy goes crazy. But um yeah, Eyes Wide Shut, where they talk about all the, everything that's going on, the secret meetings in the industry
Right.
and everything like that. Um, I think there's been a long standing tide to kind of dark arts and that type of thing out and with those particular elite, people. And a lot of people have spoken down on that. But the only thing I'm going to say on it is this, if you're doing some things that you shouldn't be doing, you need to come back to the light of
Yeah.
life. Because if you read the good book, which I do, you realize that your blood is, is considered your gift, it's part of your soul. So if you're sacrificing blood, you're kind of sacrificing your gift from, well, I believe it's from God. I mean, other people can believe what they want to believe. I don't force my beliefs on anybody else. But from my belief is, blood is your sacred life force. So if you sacrificing people or, being a part of some kind of stuff with children or whatever, that's going to be some evil stuff that's going to be going with you. And that's some stuff you don't want to be involved with. But I hear all those stories about the
Oh,
parties. You'll hear them on podcasts and the different types of things that are going on
oh yeah.
out there. I said, man, don't be
That's
involved
weird
in all
stuff.
that. Don't be involved in all that.
I don't know.
And we
No,
we
sir.
saw Alex Jones was talking about how somebody got offered a TV deal, but they said they were going to have to sell their soul or something. I said, I'll be good. I'll see y'all later. I'm out the door. I don't want any part of that dark stuff, man. You got to
Right.
stay focused on positive things because that
Yes.
dark stuff, you do deals with it.
Skywalker,
Uh,
come to the dark side.
listen, if people want to reference, listen DMX's Damien Part 1, 2, and 3. And now DMX was talking about all that stuff in
Oh,
there
yeah.
on his albums. And I remember there's a quote where the guy he got to play Damien or whatever his name was in there. He said, well, what you want from me? And he said, well, I'll tell you later. Don't worry about it. Of course, the guy comes back once and kills somebody for him. And that's how
Oh,
all that stuff is, man. You get involved in all that dark stuff, it's gonna be nothing but bad for you. But yeah, that it's funny that Eyes Wide Shut keeps coming back. People keep talking about it after all these
oh, yeah.
years.
I've been seeing it a whole lot recently.
Well, I think it's pretty apparent. You look at these artists and you look at, there was one he went on stage and had a big sign that said Satan and all that, and they're doing devil worship at shows now and stuff. I said,
Yeah,
y'all
I'm
gonna
not
fool with
open.
all that and you're gonna regret it. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, stay away from all that stuff. That stuff ain't good for nobody's health.
No, man,
Put
I
it
ain't
that
good to
way.
see.
No.
Uh,
But yeah, kind of moving on from that topic. So what else are you looking forward to in this next chapter? This probably be what we'll close on for today. But what do you look forward to in your next chapter of expanding the Bodie Harris brand? You're obviously getting into, some more film work.
oh
Coming.
yeah, I'm gonna be starting doing that
Mhm.
this week, because you already know
Yeah,
trying to get a hold of these film people is well in our area. It's
yeah,
like, man, they don't even buzz, but we're gonna shoot somebody who don't own
yeah.
the rights to anything they do, just and
Hmm.
charge them less. So and basically, we are creatives and everything, and
Yeah.
not all creatives going to be on the same page. And most of the time, that's where everything is. But
Hmm.
you always want quality. But for the area, they charge way too much when me and you, we already shot everywhere
Yeah.
basically in this city already.
Well,
So
pretty
I
much
mean,
with you and me combined, pretty much the whole region we've shot
and
it.
and the last remember I
Yeah.
talked to you, well, even though you talk about LA, well, we can shoot the scene where you talk about the ocean and all that, or the coast, whatever. We can shoot down there by the riverfront. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this motherfucker, man?
With the
I'm
two
like,
homeless guys making love or the two
oh
homeless
yeah, really.
or whatever.
And we can put a green screen behind now and make it seem like it's one night in LA. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Well, you got any other ideas, buddy? Well, you're the film director. I mean, you should be well experienced in this field, whatever, to
Right.
know the areas. But a lot of them, they don't even have any ideas. You're the one giving
Yeah.
them all the ideas. Now, if I go somewhere like Houston, Dallas, Orlando, or
Yeah.
maybe Memphis, or Florida, or even out there in LA. I guarantee you, all right, well,
Yeah.
here, pay the dough. Let's go ahead, shoot, and we'll lead everything in the right direction. And you ain't got to worry about anything. Of course, you
Mm.
review during the process of the scenes and everything. And that's how everything supposed to be. But
Right.
I mean, around here, I mean, everything is a joke, really. And, somebody like me, I shouldn't have to do everything, literally everything. Build
Yeah.
a, build a brand, build a company, be your own studio, be your own producer, be your own filmmaker and everything like that. Be your own person. It shouldn't have to be that way, but I mean,
But I don't you think there's also an advantage to that as well because you kind of know
oh,
what you're looking for. Like I feel like a lot of artists probably spend a lot of time trying to figure out what stylistic direction they want to go or what type of shots they want in their music videos because they don't
oh,
really have a lot of hands-on experience. They just used to, well, so and so does that for me or something like that. So I
well,
mean, I feel what you're saying, but I think also at the same time, it kind of the good of that is, there's pros and cons, but the pro of that is you definitely know what you want,
mhm.
in terms of your shots. So you're going to be doing more film work, and then you're going to also launch your fitness website coming soon. You're right for your personal training business,
We're still working on that because that's the naming and everything.
right?
Uh, it's kind of more like, how would it say, more job security line,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of people out there, whatever, they do the same thing, but, you got to secure the business even more, and
Hmm.
there's more things to it. Be safe, be on the safe side and everything,
Yeah,
'cause, of course, I'm on my own supplement company and everything like that because I get tired paying all these
yeah,
protein things all the time, and I mean that's a whole nother story right there.
yeah.
But what I envision, have my own brand company. That's the whole idea of what I'm doing. We're in film, we're in music, we're in fitness, we're in, podcasts, we're in the comedy, we're in this. I mean, there's so many fields now I'm in, and that's a good thing, good thing to have, but and makes you a whole lot more valuable,
Hmm.
And and everybody said, well, he built up his own thing from the ground up,
Yeah.
own foundation, and the fruits of the labor and everything. And that's just how it is.
Yeah. All right, Bo. Well, I appreciate you giving me some of your valuable time. I know you got a lot of other things you could be working on, but I appreciate you giving me some of your time. Is there anything you want people to know about anything that's coming out soon? You got any more releases that's coming out in the near future?
Yeah, we got a whole lot more releases. Now, I can't say when they're all going to come out because I'm
Sure.
like, at this point now, I got one big one, but I'm going to save that for the album,
Okay.
everything like that, and then we got the other projects, and then we're going to start our film work later this week. Now, I mean, we done film before, but now it's going to be on a bigger
Uh,
level and everything, professional and everything. Ain't got worry about shooting on old Apple camera
yeah.
anymore on the certain apps, whatever, and they take up all the space. But and everything like that, and hey, we're on Cameo too. So if y'all ever want to video with me on it, all
Yeah.
you gotta do is look me up.
Yeah,
I'm
check him
on
out on Cameo. Check him out on YouTube and Instagram. He's always posting content. All right, Bo. Well, thank you so much for your time today, sir. You have yourself a wonderful rest of your, well, yeah, it's evening, so have a wonderful rest
Yeah,
of your
let's
evening.
even keep that fishing pole handy in the corner over there.
All right, will do.
I've been in the same spot now. There was something there the last time. I don't know what it was. Maybe a little bucket or something. A bucket of salt from Wendy's. Hopefully you ain't got a call down there.
No comment. All right, y'all. Be
All
good,
right.
Bo. All
Y'all
right.
take care now.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.